Okay, so we want to talk now about some different kinds of tests that you might have. And these tests have funny names. We've got one-tailed tests and two-tailed tests. And the difference between these things is what I've written up in this red box at the top. So a one-tailed test is where the alternative hypothesis is either that P is greater than K or P is less than K. So a bit like when we were talking about the game at the beginning, it's saying like we think that the probability of winning is higher than the thing that they told us, or we think the probability of winning is lower than the thing that they've told us. But sometimes you may have that your alternative hypothesis isn't saying that they think the game is rigged one way or the other. They're just saying they think that the game's probability is not the one that we have been told. In other words, it is a not equal to. So in this case, you either have this one or this one for a one-tailed test, but for a two-tailed test, the alternative hypothesis just says that it is not equal to K. And we have to deal with those in a very slightly different kind of way that I have. So I've written here, suppose I win a game with success rate 40% and I play 20 times. I've put here all of the different probabilities for each of those values, the individual probabilities rather than the cumulative probabilities. First of all, if you were going to, back in GCSE, if I said I play a game 20 times with a success rate of 40%, what's the average number of games you'd say you'd win? 8. And you can see that on the graph here. 8 is actually the most common outcome that you would expect. As you go further away from 8, the probabilities decrease, which kind of makes sense with all the stuff we've talked about previously. And I've said here, I'm interested to know the critical regions if my success rate has changed from 40%. So I'm not saying now that I think that the probability is going to be bigger than 40% or less than 40%. I'm saying that my alternative hypothesis is that the probability has changed from 40%. In other words, it's allowed to be anything other than 40%. And so how do we deal with this if we were using a 5% significance level? Well, normally what we did for a one-tailed test is we just said, okay, at one of the ends here, we want all of the probabilities to add up to something less than 5%. This is what we normally do for a one-tailed test. It's called a one-tailed test because you're just focusing on one tail of the graph. And if it was saying that we thought that the probability was going to be bigger than 40%, we would just be looking at the other tail on the other end. So these two things that I've drawn in here, I would want the total of these probabilities. In fact, I really should include all of these ones. We would want the total of these probabilities to be less than 5%. Both of these ones in blue are representations of one-tailed tests. But a two-tailed test means we have to think about both tails because we're saying that the probability is not equal to 0.4. So we need to consider the top end and the bottom end, the two regions that would make us think the probability had changed. So how do we do this? Well, what we do for the two-tailed test is we split the 5% significance level so that it is 2.5% for each tail instead. So instead of just focusing on one tail and saying that all of those probabilities together need to be less than 5%, or at the other end, we're saying instead that the total, and I don't know if I've got any of these numbers right here, we're saying that the total sections together must be 5%. And the way that we make them both 5% or less than 5% is this one here should be less than 2.5%, and this one here should be less than 2.5%. So I realise that diagram is quite busy, but the general gist of what we've got here is if it becomes a two-tailed test, the probabilities need to be split at each end, okay? I've also, though, written in italics at the very bottom, some questions will ask for the actual significance level to be closest to 2.5% at each end rather than below. I'll explain what that means. So overall, we want these two red bits to be less than 5% for a two-tailed test, but rather than both of them having to be less than 2.5%, sometimes they just want it to be as close as possible to 2.5%. It doesn't matter if it goes a little bit above. The reason that they do that is because if this one goes a little bit above 2.5%, this one might be a little bit below 2.5%, and altogether it might add up to something that is closer to 5%. But it will make it very clear in the question if it wants you to pick the one that is closest to 2.5% rather than the one that is below 2.5%. So let's actually have a look at doing this two-tailed critical region test on the next page. So I've still got the same graph that we've got here, and this time we're doing a two-tailed test, and the two-tailed test has got the 40%, and we're doing the trial 20 times. So for the two tails we're going to have, we're first of all going to look up at this top end of the table with a 2.5%, which is 0.025. So we're going to find the first one as we look up the table that dips below 0.025. Which is that? The third one, this one that we've got here. So that means that the critical value is 3, meaning that the critical region is less than or equal to 3. So going back to this thing that I've got here, these bits all together here, they create the critical region at the low end of this. Meaning if I observed 3, 2, 1 or 0 when playing this game, that would make me think that the probability was not 0.4. Obviously, it makes us think the probability is less than 0.4, but we're saying that overall it's not equal to 0.4. What do we have to do for the other end of the table? What probability am I going to look that it is exceeding? 0.975. 0.975, because it's going to be 97.5%. So we're going to look down the list and see the first one that goes above 0.975. I think it's this 12 that we have here, but remember the trick when it's with this, you add on the next one so that it goes up to 13. So this looks like the critical region is going to be these ones, or I want to do it in the same red colour as before, is going to be these ones here, creating the other critical region, which is that x is greater than or equal to 13. So now that you've established what the critical regions are, you could then just do an experiment. If you won 15 of the times, then you would say, that's inside my critical region. That makes me think that the probability of the game is not 40%. It makes me think it has changed from 40%. So it's subtly different, the difference between a one-tailed test and a two-tailed test, but we're really just trying to split the significance levels at either end. Because they're both less than 2.5%, overall, both of those tails together are less than 5%, which was what was asked of us in the original part of the question. Okay, so these are the critical regions. Yeah, what was your question? I might have a spare one in the cupboard. I'll just get you on now, okay? Okay, everyone got this down? You can get this down later, okay? So the tables are really, really helpful for doing the critical values. Obviously, this table that I've got written here, this table is just so that you can find in the formula book, or you can find it on the green pages that I've printed for you guys as well, okay? So those would be the critical regions. Now we're actually going to do a proper test with this, okay? So it says here, a random variable x has binomial distribution b brackets 40p. A single observation is used to test. The null hypothesis is that p is 0.25. In other words, the chance of winning the game is 25%, against the alternative hypothesis that the chance of winning is not 25%. So they haven't predicted whether they think the game is rigged one way or the other. They're just saying they think the game is rigged in one way. That's what I've written here. The not equals 2 indicates bias either way. In other words, it's a two-tailed test. And that's your job to identify. They won't tell you this is a two-tailed test. You have to spot that. It then says, using the 2% level of significance, find the critical region of this test. The probability in each tail should be as close as possible to 0.01. So previously, we wanted the probability to be below 0.01 or above 0.99. This time they're asking for something slightly different. They're saying they want that the probability should be as close as possible to 0.01. And what I've written in here, this means you find the closest to 0.01, even if it's slightly above, rather than the closest one under 0.01. And then what we'll do is we'll write down the actual significance level of this test. So to find the critical region, again, you could find this from the binomial tables, but you'd go to the section where there is 40 things happening, and the probability is 0.25. And we're going to look for the one that is closest to 0.01. So yeah, I think if you look here, this one is this little extra bit above 0.01. It's like 60 above 0.01, whereas this one is how much below 0.01? 53. So this one is like 60 above 0.01, obviously not 60 above 0.00 blah, 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 but I'm just trying to see how we can see it. And this one is only 53 below. So this one is actually closest to 0.01, meaning we're going to pick this for the critical region. So for part A that we're going to have here, the low end critical region, the low end critical region.
So we said that had the one above rather than the one
No, 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 that's only at the bottom end of the table. If it's the top end of the table, you just find it easy. If it's the bottom end of the table, you do the trick of adding one on, okay? So the low end critical region is that x is less than or equal to 3. And I'm going to put in brackets. This is because it is closest to 0.01. And the upper end critical region, obviously I've missed out some section of the table inside here just so I could squeeze it in, okay? So down here, we want to find the one that is closest to what value? 0.99. We want to find the one that's closest to 0.99. Because obviously, the whole question was a 2% significance, two-tailed. We halved it, so it was a 1 and a 1. So the upper end critical region, which of these is closest to 0.99? The 16, yeah, because this one is only like 16 away from 0.99, whereas this one is 53 above it. So actually, this is the one that is closest to 0.99. So actually you pick the one that's above it, so it's 17. So the upper end critical region is that x is greater than or equal to 17. So then they might do, in the next part of the question, they might say something like, Tom played a game 40 times and he won 16 times. Comment on what has happened. So if he played the game 40 times and he won 16 times, what would that make you think?
it's false.
What do you mean it's false?
You need the alternative hypothesis.
You believe the alternative?
Did you want 16, you said?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be 8.
No, look at the critical regions instead. The critical regions tell you where the game is rigged. So if he played it 16 times, it's still in the region that is not different from 0.25. So the probability is 0.25, and we would accept the null hypothesis. Part B wants us to write down the actual significance level. What this means is to add the probabilities of the critical regions together. That we used, okay? So that means we're going to be using this percentage that we've got here, which is 0.0047, and not this probability, but this probability 1 minus this one, to find out what was the probability above it. So that was the one that we were interested in before. If we do 1 minus this probability, it will give us the answer in 1 minus 0.9884, which is 0.0116, 0.0116. That's the probability of it being above. So you get 0.0116. Let's add that to 0.0047, and we get that the actual significance level is 0.0163. Yeah, so the probability that it's less than 3 is the significance level of the bottom part, which is 0.0047. The probability of it being greater than or equal to 16 is, greater than or equal to 17. This is actually 1 minus the probability that it is less than or equal to 16. We know that from before, right? So that's why I did 1 minus the probability that is less than or equal to 16. What you're really doing, though, is you're taking the two values that we picked out in the table for the probabilities. You're adding together this probability and this one's matching probability that goes with it that makes it add up to 1. And what you should notice about this value is it should be close to the significance level, right? The significance level for this question is 2%, and this is 0.0163. It's still less than 2%. The reason that's interesting is because we would normally have gone for this one to be the first one above 0.99. But in this question, it said find the one that's closest to 0.01. By finding the one that's closest to 0.01, we still overall had something that was less than 2%. It will always detail in the question whether you should do the one that goes below 0.01 or 0.25 or 0.025, whatever it says in the question, or whether it should be as close as possible to it. So we're going to now spend a big chunk of time having a look at exercise 7B, and then we'll start doing some full hypothesis tests after this.